Hey, hey, Sagittarius. How's it going? Oh my god, I'm like so excited to talk to you guys. I just figured out that my favorite DJ that I listen to all the time is a Sagittarian. And I thought he was a Libra. And like forever I was like trying to figure out why like his life wasn't going like the way Libra's lives were going. And it's kind of like, okay, well, he just must have like a very, very strong sense of will. But no, he's a Sagittarian. And it's so awesome because, like, there's, like, certain people that I kind of have to trust with my life. If that makes sense. Like, definitely the person who does my hair, definitely whose music is going in my ears and into my brain and into my muscles and into my soul. And, like, I mean, I was just, like, cracking him up on Sunday. I was telling him how every person on this floor, all my neighbors, know his mixes by heart. His name is Sammy Needles. He does all sorts of mixes. He does hip hop, he does reggae, he does dancehall, he does soca. I think he's got a couple of shows on Sirius and a couple of other places. But I was like telling him, I was like, yo, everyone around me like knows every song in your dancehall mixes, like because I just blast them all the time. And it totally makes sense. Like, he's one of those people that I consistently recommend to people and always with, like, glowing, things to say. Like, and I'm not like that. I'm not, like, effusive about my compliments. One of my Leo friends that was actually at that brunch was I do, like, a Sunday brunch where people can just kind of wander in whenever they feel like it between, like, 1 and 8. So for, like, 7 hours, the house is open. You can come in and like eat and drink and hang out. And sometimes there's like 20 people here. Sometimes it's just me. So it depends on like when you come in and when you catch the vibe. But I had a Leo girlfriend that was sitting here and I couldn't stop like complimenting him. I was just like, oh my God, you're just so good. You're just so good. And the two people that I find that I compliment the most and that I recommend the most to people, which to me is the ultimate compliment, are both Sagittarians, and that's my hairdresser and Sammy, the DJ. So that was cool to figure that out, to know that. One of my favorite actors right now, Riz Ahmed, is also a Sagittarian, and I find his work to be sublime. I mean, The Night Of is masterful, right? I mean, he's done a lot of other stuff, so I don't want to kind of like typecast him to that, but his again, done with such finesse, same finesse, that goes into these other two people and their craft that I mentioned. So, why do I tell you all that? Well, I tell you all that because the thing is, even though Sagittarian's been through a pretty hard time, never has it affected the quality. There's a lot to be said for that. A lot of times what will happen is that a sign will go through a difficult time, and one of the things that will happen is they'll fall off. Get depressed and not get out of bed for 3 weeks. I don't know, whatever your version of that is, right? But Sagittarians, they are like Virgos in that way. They are able to pick themselves up and still maintain a very high standard to their work. You may be feeling, not anymore, you're coming into a great period, but you may have been feeling 4 years up until now, like really bad inside, but it has not affected the quality with which you do things, the care, the finesse, the nuance that you understand, the intelligence that you bring to everything. I'm so used to just, saying whatever I want and thinking I'm right. And it's always so refreshing to be around a Sagittarian because they will take you head on and be like, well, yeah, but you can also look at it this way. Or there's more than one aspect to this. Or, I don't think you're quite right there. And I'm like, cool, yes, tell me, teach me. Like, I'm so here for it. Like, I really want to learn, So, yeah, it's really cool. It's really, really cool. And the fact that you were able to do that and be that, even when you felt really, really bad inside and lonely and not, couldn't make sense of why things were happening the way they were and couldn't really make sense of, why people were just being so. This is a card of, deceit. People haven't been very nice to you. We know this. We know this. We've talked about it, right? So now to see yourself from a little distance from the hard time as it recedes quickly into the background, right? As you move forward, now you can kind of look back on that period and say, hey, you know what? How cool is it that my work, my intelligence, my need to create new understandings was still present, was still intact. I was still doing that. I wasn't running from that, even though I was doing so bad. And now with so much distance between me and the bad stuff, I can look back and say, you know what? I was really strong. And my commitment to quality is very strong. And I feel my fire and my power coming back. And this is the creative Sag. You can come up as the King of Wands, but the King of Wands is more the destroyer kind of energy. This is the creative fire. The dark cloud is gone, is what I'm trying to say. The dark cloud is gone, and it went quickly, suddenly, quickly, in the right direction, towards more strength, better times, fun, power. Away from the negative we go. And you guys don't like dwelling in the negative anyway. It's such a drag. Like, why? It's such a waste. So it's perfect, because it's been like, I'm sure over the past few years, there have been moments where you've been feeling like, it's such a waste that I feel this way, and I shouldn't, and I wish I could stop, but like, what's wrong with me? Like, why do I feel so bad? Like, why aren't things working out? Why can't I find someone that I really like? Why, when one thing is going right, the other things start to go wrong? Like, why does this have to be so difficult like this? Like, what's the reasoning? Oh. What's the reasoning? Let me make some sense of this while we talk. I think that's like the release that we needed. And what it is, I think it was to teach you. I mean, it's always to teach you something, but in this case, what it was meant to teach you was a sense of bravery. I mean, you guys are brave, so that's not going to make much sense. Like, no, I didn't go through all that just to learn how to be brave. I'm already brave. Don't say that to me. No, of course it's more than that. It's like bravery in the face. I'm sorry, there's just a lot of cards here. It's like bravery in the face of the worst aspect of yourself. It's being able to integrate the shadow side of your personality. It's being able to integrate the dark without feeling like you've given. Oh, there's such a mess over here. Like you've given something away. Sagittarians are about integration. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, I know that's a little disjointed. I apologize. I'll make more sense of that. Sagittarians are about integrating things, right? Integrating different cultures, integrating different art forms, different mediums, different languages. They work in the space of connective tissue, if you will, between things, getting things together, pulling things together, keeping things together. The binders. There isn't much room there to have a dark side. It seems ridiculously absent from you guys as a sign. And that's funny considering that in Scorpios, for example, it seems like they have nothing but a dark side. But I think here, the way this comes up, it's because the integration that you needed to have, and hopefully you have done now as you move forward these past few years, you have somehow danced this dance, right? You danced this dance and made peace with the fact that there are aspects to you that are not all the way great, and that you are not all the way perfect, and that can be, or not all the way good even. You know, I think that you guys are the sign that is probably, in my personal experience, is the most good, the most clear. And to me, that's the most good, right? I appreciate that clear directness, obviously, in others, because I like it in myself as well. But you have to, like Libra, you have to learn how to be comfortable in the dark, even though you are so light. And that's very hard for you because you would like to not have this struggle. You would like things for things to be much easier and much more direct. And be able to work for the side of good, and that's all there is to it, and that's what we're doing, and that's easy. Okay, that would be awesome. But that's not how this works. Okay, so you can't just be on the side of light. What am I trying to say? I know it's very stop and start, but I'm trying to make sense of something that is. Let me put it to you this way. When I do your readings, I have to stretch my brain like you guys do all the time. But I don't have a lot of Sagittarius in my chart. I don't know if I have any. And it's not the only time that I've ever felt that brain stretch that you guys do all the time with everything is when I create either music or when I'm, interestingly enough, when I am studying microbiology, which is just a hobby of mine. Then I can feel the brain stretch. I can feel the brain expand, and I'm like, oh my God, my brain. But you guys do that all the time. So excuse me if it's a little stop and start and it's not as fluid, because it just takes a different understanding to be able to communicate with you. And what I'm trying to communicate to you here is very Jungian. And it's not a difficult concept, but it's a deep one. It's an important one. And it's very well embodied by these two cards. You know, there is the clear-hearted, open fool, and there is the dark, primal, scary, this person is completely open and this person is closed, this unopened kind of Pandora's box of what's in there, what's in that part of my personality. And I feel like Sagittarians do a very good job very early in life of locking that part of themselves away, or else they become quite scandalous or scoundrels, And so this past few years has been really a study in how do you integrate the dark with the light without letting the dark consume you. When you are the type of person who naturally just likes the light and doesn't really want to integrate the dark necessarily at all and isn't happy about it at all, but still has been made to do it, that makes for a really interesting person. When strong people are pushed into situations that they would rather not be in, usually there is a very heartwarming process that ensues. Cue any movie with a stone cold, hard military guy who ends up with a little kid he has to take care of or something, right? So to watch people struggle with that, which is not their natural inclination for the betterment of themselves or for others, is a noble. One, it is a noble pursuit, and two, it is very empowering and inspiring to watch. So please go ahead and delve into this process and what that process is now for you. If we take a look here at what's come up, what that process is now for you is pretty simple now that things have picked up and are starting to go the right way. So let's read them off first so we know what we're looking at. 5 of Swords, the Chariot, Queen of Wands, the Fool, the Devil, Knight of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, Ace of Pentacles, 2 of Swords. So these 2s right here, okay, we got that. We got the moving from a place of feeling really, badly treated to quickly moving to a place of power. We got that. That has a lot to do with cosmic stuff, but good. We're feeling good. Finally, letting some shackles shake off there. Awesome. This is your outcome card over here, by the way. And bottom of the deck. So outcome is 10 of Cups. Very good outcome card. And then bottom of the deck is the 7 of Cups. So we'll talk about that in a second. So second row here, the Fool, the Devil, Knight of Pentacles. This is what we're really talking about in terms of this Jungian, struggle between the conscious self and the primal self, between the conscious brain and the subconscious, between the light side and the shadow side, or the side we show everyone and the shadow side, or the side we show everyone that we wish we were, the archetype we wish we were, as opposed to the one that we quite often feel like. And how do we, and let's not forget that the Saturn, the Sagittarian animal is quite known for its mythically sexual behavior, right? Not quite a Pan-like figure, but still Satyrs were known to be wanton in their sexuality and quite notorious for getting drunk and, carrying women off and stuff. So like I said, if not tempered early, the Sagittarian nature can go very far to the quote-unquote wrong side. And so what happens is usually you end up with someone who's super good because they know how capable they are of being super bad. But later in life, you find that you have to integrate these two things to be able to get through bad times without feeling like you're evil somehow and a bad person, right? Knight of Pentacles. So here, Sagittarius, we're dealing again with an earth sign, not showing up quite as strong in this reading as the other readings before you, but still showing up quite, still very present in the reading, saying, hey, I'm coming back. I'm on my way back in. I don't know if you're going to, not really coming from much of a place of power, really coming from a place of beseeching and saying, hey, I hope you give me some time. I'd really like to speak to you. I've been thinking about you, etc. So if you, Sagittarius, have been dealing with an earth sign, expect that person to be back in touch with you. Now let's move on to this third row. Because Sagittarius, this reading really, although there are elements of love, this reading is really about your personality and about how you just kind of magically, and this happens with you guys, have understood something a lot better about the past than you ever have, and everything is kind of shaken into place in your mind because of it, and the dark cloud just kind of goes, okay, it's over. Let's have some fun. I want to have some relaxed, cool fun. I want to travel. I want to stretch my mind. I want to travel in my mind and travel in my body and travel in love. I want to see new things and be with new people and sleep with new people. I want to do all the stuff, and the universe is like, go do it. I am with you. Money looks amazing. You are on it. We support you. We are the wind in your sails. You better go get this money. And the Two of Swords, it's just that bit of, again, very reminiscent of this dynamic here. The duality of this, right, which is obvious. Also the duality of this. Remember, this is a very dualistic card with the white and black, right? So, of course, will there be what in Urdu or Hindi is called a jijik, where you hesitate? Is there hesitation? Is there a push and pull, a little bit of it's been bad for a while now and I'm kind of getting used to it and I'm kind of just letting that part of myself be dead inside and kind of getting used to be a zombie that way emotionally, and now I feel the kickstart and I really don't have much of a choice but to start running and I really like it, but I'm still contemplating back and forth in my head in a pretty painful way if I can sustain it, if I lose this momentum again. And maybe I shouldn't get too used to it. And maybe I should not let myself like it. Maybe I shouldn't let myself really have that fun. I'm not saying a lot of you are going to feel this way, but somewhere in the recesses of your mind, this will be happening, and I'll tell you why. Because for a certain amount of years, you have had a certain type of programming, and habits are difficult to break. So even though that situation won't any longer be occurring and the situation will be very positive instead, you will still have the lingering effects of that old experience and what programming it's left you with, and you have to actively work on getting rid of that so you have room and space and mental clarity and peace to let these good things come in. And if you do, Sagittarius, if you do that, and here we are, mental peace, clarity. This is the very opposite of everything I just said. That's the bottom of the deck. Be very careful to keep your head together now that you've got some speed and you can move forward and have some fun. Be careful you don't end up here right away. We don't want to go here. We want to go here. Short game, long game. Okay, so you start to see things in a different way. Finally, the cloud lets up. Finally, you can see, to the horizon again. And money starts to pour in because your energy is back, magnetizing all good things to you. You do have this moment of hesitation here. You do have a general sense of fear about it. And if you let it, it can turn very toxic, okay, and stagnate you here. But if you don't let it, if you fight it, okay, if you understand this process of needing to integrate the bad with the good, needing to understand that that is okay, exploring that, letting that happen, letting someone else see that part of you that you don't even show yourself, letting people actually get close to you. That's what's possible this year, and this is the month that sets all that up, Sagittarius. Okay? So a really good reading, things to be aware of for sure. But overall, just really being capable now of having a very good time, and I would let myself do that. I would allow myself the peace and the permission to do that, because you deserve it. It's not been easy. It's been fucking hard, man. Sorry, but it's been hard. And now you get to really have a good year, a good summer, a good spring, a good, fun, productive year. And all you have to do is not hesitate now. Run. Don't take all your clothes off and start running and, be crazy. Just let's pick up some steady speed. I'm a big fan of riding horses, and I've ridden horses since I was young. And you guys aren't necessarily all horse, but one of the things that I understand about Sagittarians is pacing. And I think I understand it because of horse riding. So there's a certain groove it has to do. It's very easy to get into as a dancer. There's a certain groove you have to be in with your horse, a certain cadence that your horse runs at. And there's a certain groove you need to get into with it so you can go faster and faster without falling off. Your bodies have to work together. And that pace that a horse takes, it's very measured, and they know instinctively, every muscle knows how to work in a certain way that the pace picks up gradually and the steady, constant speed turns into something amazing, right? That's where you guys are at. You're setting your rhythm now. So set a good one. Set a steady one. You know, yes, you're going to be hitting targets and, shooting arrows as you go. But just know that now the sun is bright and you have all the light and visibility that you need and all the room to run. Now there's nothing holding you back. Now it's time to pick up the pace. I had this military horse once. Bobby, you could whisper in his ear and say, gallop. And he would gallop. Like that. Train yourself now. Right? Train yourself to get into a very healthy, productive pace moving forward, knowing that all the things that you want are coming to you, and all you have to resolve within yourself is that you don't have to be the perfect good person. There are parts of you that aren't all good, and we need those parts of you, and you need those parts of you. And sometimes because you can be so judgmental of others, you don't want to acknowledge those parts of you because you don't want to be judgmental that way of yourself. But the cure then is not to compartmentalize and throw parts of yourself away. The key then is to be less judgmental, and or because you have such a discerning nature and you can't really help it, to come from a place of compassion. So when it's also applied to you, you do it from a place of compassion towards yourself, and you can really see your own flaws. And you can see the places where you need to do things differently, because not integrating your shadow side is not a flaw. It's just something that needs to be done so you can actualize as a person and take it from someone who integrated their shadow side a long time ago, and perhaps sometimes is more shadow side than light side, that it's quite necessary for your intellectual growth, for your cerebral growth. And I know that that's very appealing to you. So for no other reason, get into some solid Jungian philosophy. If you don't know much about it, it will help you, especially now in March. So there is that. Now, I have a new channel up where I'll be talking about all sorts of stuff, and there's going to be a lot of like a lecture style going on there where I'll be talking about different things. I just put one up about getting over a breakup, and then it ended up also being about what things I use on my face in terms of skincare, makeup, etc. The next talk I'm doing is going to be on the holographic universe, and it will also be about the stuff I use in my hair, etc., and eating and such. And then the one after that will be on forgiveness and weight loss. And if these things don't seem at all related to you and you're confused by why they would be this way, check it out and you'll understand. They will also be a form of a mid-month reading. Is it going to be about astrology? No, it won't. It's going to be about whatever questions were asked from the videos in the comments. From the videos at the beginning of the month, they will be addressed mid-month on the other channel, but they will be worked into a much broader thing, like the thing that I mentioned. They'll be thrown in there here and there. So if you're strictly watching this for the astrology or for the predictive nature of it, of the programming, then I don't think that you'll be into that. But if it's more of you're inspired by the insight and curious more about me as a person and so on, then you will find that interesting. So I will link it below. Also, I'll leave my email address so you can get in touch with me if you'd like a personal reading. Also, I will be in the Bay Area from the 1st to the 7th of April, and then I will be in LA from the 7th to the 20th. So if you are wanting to do a meetup, an interview, etc., there's a lot of people that are reaching out to me right now. Email me or get on the Facebook page that you can link to through YouTube, and get on the page and kind of organize amongst you guys, and then let me know when, where, etc. Okay, and we'll make it work out. Me and whatever, crew of like 10 or 12 brown guys that have to go everywhere with me, because I'm the only girl, and like even out of all the cousins and everyone, I'm just the only girl. So yeah, so let's do that. And this was actually a really great reading. And check out Sammy. I don't know, I'll text him and ask him if I can link him. I'm sure it should be okay, but you should. Sammy Needles, he's an amazing DJ, Excellent, excellent work. All right, Sagittarius. I bet you thought I was going to leave you for last. No way, man. I will see you in April. I love you guys.